I am excited to share a little bit about what I've been thinking about and what I took some notes on that I think would be really helpful. It's something that I've been noticing, and I typically like to do trainings around things that are kind of coming up for either me personally or things that I'm seeing in people that I'm getting in contact with. So the things, a common theme that I've been noticing when I've been talking to people these last couple of weeks is they are wanting to really just get clarity and figure out who they are and what they want and what life means for them and just really getting that clarity of what do I want to do for my career and who really am I, what really matters to me as an individual outside of being a wife and outside of being a mother. Not that those things don't matter, but sometimes when we are at a job or we're married or we have children, we can kind of just get lost in the everyday like responsibilities that we have to do, and we start to kind of lose a sense of self in that. And as a career woman, a partner, and a mother, I can totally relate to this and understand this journey. And it's so important to have a separation of self. And I had to go through a journey for myself. What I was alone. I was a single mom for a while, for almost 2 years. And during that period, I had to really figure out who I was and what mattered to me and who I was as an individual without being in a relationship and all of these things. So I want to share some insights that maybe some of you who might be going through some of this or might be questioning some of these things can relate to and might be really helpful for where you're at. So, some of the common things, just for an example, that you might be experiencing is like fears of rejection from other people, right? So, let's say, because this is very common as well, this is something I noticed, I experienced myself, and something I noticed I talked to a lot of people with recently is let's say you grew up in a religious upbringing of whatever sort. And now, today, fast forward to today, you are really interested in learning more about energy healing or reading tarot or anything that's kind of what maybe some people would classify as new agey, even though this stuff has been around thousands of years. Like it is actually old, like it's very old. It's actually more ancient than anything that's around, but it's just coming back to the surface a little bit more popular recently. And so people are feeling called to learn more about it or experience it. But because of their religious upbringing, they're like, this is scary. This is bad. What if my mom gets mad at me? Or what if my parents or my grandparents won't talk to me anymore? What if they disown me? Right. So, like, they're going through this like period of what if I'm not accepted? And what if I am rejected by my loved ones for going on this route of self discovery? Right. That's a good example of wanting to figure out who you are and wanting to really dive into your curiosities but being afraid to and just kind of staying where you're at due to this fear of rejection or this not being accepted from others, right? Now, the next thing, and this one is both can be very common, is like that fear of the guilt of like being selfish, right? So it's like, I'm a mom, I have to work, I'm a wife, and if I start taking time just for myself to figure out who I am as an individual, what will I be taking away from my kid? What will I be taking away from my partner or whatever other responsibilities you have? What will I be taking away from them if I start to separate myself and figure out who I am and go on this self discovery journey, right? So, this like fear of rejection or fear of not being accepted for whatever you discover about yourself or whatever you end up liking about yourself. And, you've got to figure that out, right? And what if your family doesn't approve? What if somebody in your life doesn't approve, right? So there's that fear of that unknown. And then also the fear of if I spend too much time with myself or if I spend any time with myself, I'll be taking away from other things that are important to me, right? So those are just some common fears that stand in the way of being able to even start that journey and that process. So the first thing that I recommend here is just understanding that it's going to be uncomfortable. The process of figuring out who you are and going on that self discovery will be uncomfortable in the beginning, just as anything is. Okay. So when you are not in good shape, or when your health is low, right? You are not going to feel better, then eat better, then work out. It's going to have to be the other way around. You're going to have to force yourself to eat better. You're going to have to force yourself to move your body more, and then you will feel better, right? So in this case, what that kind of means is you are going to have to do the uncomfortable thing of really looking inward, really looking at yourself and asking questions, getting curious. What do I like? What do I not like? What do I want? What do I want? And the beautiful thing about this is you can write a list of whatever that is. And as time goes on, things will shift and change off that list. Let's say you think you want to write a book, or let's say you think you want to be on Netflix, whatever, something like this, right? As you go on and as you figure out who you are, and then also incorporate who you are into your life and get those things to balance and merge together, some of those goals that you have, you might be like, I actually don't care about this anymore. I thought I did, right? Like I thought I did because of what I grew up around, or because of what, I see on TikTok or I see on social media. I thought I wanted this. And so what happens in this period, in this transition period, is you're not going to, it's not your destiny, your purpose, who you are isn't just going to come to you. You have to seek it. You have to look for it. And then you have to allow yourself to go through a journey of saying, okay, this is what I think I want. This is what is calling to me. This is what I feel like I'm craving to do, craving to experience. And then you do it. You do those things that you are feeling called to do. And of course, I teach a process of how can you do those things while you're balancing your life that you already have. How can you not throw away what you've got, or mess up what you have, or abandon what you have, but incorporate those things that you want to try and making it work and balancing the two together. So incorporating your self-discovery with your already busy, responsibility filled life. Okay. So that's kind of, my suggestion there. So, but there's no way your purpose and your destiny is going to come to you. It has to be looked for. The only reason I discovered that I'm meant to be a mentor, a coach, a facilitator of healing for others is because when I went through all of the trauma that I went through, I started to get curious. Why did I go through this? How can I make sure I never go through something this terrible ever again? And then as soon as I learned and figured it out and had my breakthroughs, the message of I have to show others came to me. And thus my career was born. Thus my purpose was born. But I never stopped being a mom. I never stopped doing the job that I had before. I was a salon owner before. I kept going to work. I didn't just jump off the deep end, fall off a cliff and start this business. No, there was strategy to it as well. You can follow your intuition. You can follow, if you see that blurb in the background, it's my cat. That's so funny. I'm still getting my office moved around, so I'm like blurring it out because this is my living room. But anyways, that's funny. But I lost my train of thought because the cat distracted me. But what I'm trying to say is your life can merge with your destiny, your purpose. But the only way you are going to figure out what that purpose is by getting curious about who you are, what you want. And the beautiful thing is like I said, in the beginning, you're going to think you want all of these things. Some of them will be accurate. Some of them will be right. And some of them will just be stepping stones that are going to put you in a situation where you figure out the real thing that you want, right? So don't be afraid to be like, okay, well, I want to do this. And then when you go to do that, you're like, oh, I don't really want this, but I met this person, or I learned this, and this is what I want, right? So sometimes our curiosities or our cravings that we have to first look for are not the thing. They're not the plan, but they are the stepping stones. They are something that's guiding you. There's the only thing in your awareness at this moment that will guide you to the real awareness, to the real answer. I hope that's making sense. So what I mean is
there's no way through. It's not, you're not going to just figure out who you are. It's not just going to come to you. It's not going to smack you in the face and whatever. That's not, I don't hear of that happening. What you're meant to do is you're meant to get curious. Now, the reason we don't get curious, or the reason that a lot of us stay still or stay where we're at, is because of those fears, like I was talking about earlier. So we need to start figuring out what those stories are. What are the fears? Why are we so afraid? Like, again, and like I said, some good examples are we're going to be rejected. We're not going to be accepted if we, like, let's say we want to be a healer, right? Let's say we want to be a healer. Let's say we want to read tarot. Let's say we want to do Reiki, right? Some of those things are not widely accepted in certain religions, right? And if we grew up in that religion, then we're not going to be accepted. Now, that's just an example. That's not obviously going to be every single person watching this video, but you could stumble upon something you want to do that your parents maybe are against, right? Or maybe you're a stay-at-home mom, or maybe you are a primary provider in your family, and you are afraid that you won't be able to fulfill your responsibilities if you take time to figure out what you really want, right? So you're afraid of that guilt, that selfishness, whatever it is. We've got to identify those fears. We've got to identify those stories that we're telling ourselves that are holding us back. And then we've got to get to the root of it. Like, okay, let's say this happened. Let's say you aren't accepted. Let's say everybody thinks you're selfish, whatever. Why is that scary? Why is that scary? Now, I know for me, the root of all my excuses, of all of my stories, of all of my fears when I was going on this self-discovery journey was isolation. What if I don't find a soulmate? Like, what if I become who I feel called to become and I don't find anybody who resonates with that, right? I was a single mom at the time, and being in a relationship was very important to me. So I was like, but I was learning all these new things. I was changing my diet, my lifestyle, the way that I showed up, the way I spent my time. And so I'm like, the fear is, well, now I'm sober, now I'm this, now I'm that. What if I don't find a lover that resonates with this? Right? That's my fear. So it's like my overall root fear was isolation and loneliness, right? So what if I do this and the people that are already in my life don't resonate, or the people that I want to eventually attract into my life don't resonate, right? So the root of this was loneliness. The fear of isolation, the fear of loneliness was holding me back. I had to build a relationship to my loneliness, to the fear of isolation within me. And what that looked like for me was really connecting into the quantum field, the earth, the universe's mind, or God's mind. I really had to tap into the collective consciousness. Now, this is my journey, my experience, right? And it doesn't necessarily going to look the same for everybody, but it could be parallel. And what I mean by parallel, it could be similar, and it can be helpful. Okay, is there's a hive mind. What that means is we're all one. We're all connected. We're all extensions of one consciousness, and that's my beliefs, my experience, right? Whatever, maybe some of you resonate with that, maybe whatever, some of you see it differently, and that's totally cool. Whatever that means for you is perfect. Okay, so that I had to connect with. I had to build a deep relationship with this fact, or this knowing that I had for me, for myself, that there was something bigger that we were all connected to. And I had to, once I awakened that connection within me, I didn't feel alone anymore. And all of a sudden, all of those things that I was afraid of people that I love not resonating with me, not accepting me, or me not being able to meet other people that resonated with my new life, all of those things went away. And I was just gifted with the knowing, with this pure feeling that was just not the case. And what happened is I could step back and just be okay with where I was at the moment. And I just started to trust that I was going to end up in the situation that I needed to end up in to meet who I needed to meet and to know what I needed to know to maintain my relationship. Because the truth is, what's happened, I have family that don't understand what I do, don't necessarily practice what I do or believe in what I do at all. I still love them. They still love me. We still have a great relationship. We still meet for family functions. I just know my boundaries. I know what I will talk about with them and what I won't talk about with them. And I don't judge them. They don't judge me, kind of thing. And that's a process, figuring out how to maintain those balance those relationships with people we love but might not resonate with us. That's okay. You can have relationships with people that don't resonate with you and still live your life, and they still live their life, and you guys can be in unison together and still love each other, support each other, be there. And then I was guided to join a membership a couple of years ago, and I met my twin flame, who it was everything that I am, everything that I care about, everything that I value, lived 5 minutes down the road from me. Things that I could not imagine happened because I was open to them happening. Okay. So the only way through self-discovery is through. You're not going to discover yourself and then everything else fall into place. You have to discover yourself and allow things to fall into place, right? The only way through is through. Things are not going to happen and then things work out. It's things are going to happen and you're going to have to make them work. Okay. And then the only way you're going to be able to get started with that is if you get to the root of whatever the fears, like look at those excuses, look at those fears, look at the stories. What's the root? And how can you build a new relationship with it? So if this is, I hope this is valuable, hope this is helpful. If you want more details on this, I actually did a 3-day overcoming self-sabotage training, and it's totally spot on to what we just talked about in today's video, but it's expanded over 3 days. So it's nothing but pure steps to take, what to do, how to do it. So day one is all about figuring out, what do you want? Where do you want to be? Who are you and what do you want in this life? What do you want to experience? And then day two is how to make that experience happen with your busy life and your other responsibilities, how to balance them, how to prioritize everything, making it work. And then day three is all about figuring out what that root fear is, not the surface level stories, fears, and excuses that we have, but the root and how to heal it. I give you an exercise, a meditative exercise that I guide my clients through on how to heal it so you can do it for yourself. Okay? So if you would like to do that 3-day challenge, I highly recommend it, especially if you resonated with this training and you want more information on how to actually make something happen and get those first steps going. I recommend doing the 3-day overcoming self-sabotage challenge. And if you would like to do the challenge, comment in the comments below, say challenge, 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 challenge. I will send you the link. The beautiful thing about this challenge is it's already happened. So as soon as you sign up, you can start watching the videos. You can start taking the challenge. So it's already set up. It's already ready to go. It's not happening a month from now. It's not happening a week from now. It's happening right now. So as soon as you sign up, as soon as I give you the link to sign up, you can start watching those videos immediately and getting the information you need immediately. So comment challenge if you want to take the challenge, and I'll make sure that you get the information to sign up so you can go ahead and get started. So whenever you're ready to start, it's ready for you to start it, okay? So let me know if you want to watch it. I'll make sure you get the information. I hope this is helpful. Let me know what you thought about today's training in the comments below. Let me know if you have any questions. Let me know if this resonated. Let me know if this was valuable or helpful and made any sense. Like I said, everything that I told today was from my experience, my examples. Some of you will resonate. Some of yours is going to look a little different, and all of that's okay. It's still applicable, okay? So I hope this was good. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you guys next week.